Coach, you have a ton of depth and experience.
Yeah.
How do you kind of balance that, getting work, but also letting guys win jobs?
Yeah, you just you have to work people in different spots, different times. Coach everybody. Don't coach the four. Coach everybody. And I think the way college football is going, you need, you got to have at least 2 deep, if not 3, when you think about the length of the season. So we coach them all, and then we put guys in different situations to give them the confidence, and that's the kind of plan, so to speak.
And then what have you kind of seen from the younger guys like Boubacar, Mel, those guys?
Oh man, Boubacar's he's picked up right where he left off. He had a great spring. He's having an even better summer. Armel Mukam, who really is kind of his first opportunity to get out here, is doing a phenomenal job. I mean, I can't tell you how good a job he's doing. And he's the best thing about Armel is he's incredibly bright and just a tough kid. So those factors usually help. But yeah, those 2 guys that you brought up, man, they're really doing a fine job.
Al?
Yes.
With about 3 weeks to go before the start of the season, what is the point of emphasis in camp right now? Are you working technique? Are you still looking to find the chemistry? What are you doing?
Good question. I don't know if we ever stop working technique. I don't know if that ever stops. But we certainly are working on consistency. I think when you think about a game with the emotion that comes up, being able to do your job despite all of that. And I think consistency is the key. So doing it once is great, but that's not the key. The goal is to do it consistently. And so that's our focus, that's our mindset.
What are some of the intangibles that you're coaching? I know the heat is going to be a factor down in Texas.
Yeah.
The other intangibles that you work on during camp?
Yeah, it all starts upstairs in your mind, what your focus is, right? Your ability to reset after a play or prior to the snap. Are you focused on the right things? Are you seeing your key? And then are you working the fundamentals consistently enough that you don't have to think about them? They're second nature. They're a part of you. So that's kind of where our focus is, and I think that's what's going to help. The fact the weather is the weather. I think I don't know what it's going to be. I'm sure it'll be warm, but we can't even consider that. You have to focus on the things you can control, which is your mindset and your technique. So that's kind of our maybe coachy, but that's sincerely how I view it, and that's how our players go about it.
How have you guys been able to respond with Gabe Rubio out? And have you seen some of the other guys maybe step up?
Yeah, I mean, listen, Gabe will be back, but yeah, how we respond is next man up, and we don't flinch, and that's no disrespect to Gabe. Gabe would say the same thing. I think the mark of a good unit is that, you step up, because this game is you never know when your last play is. So if I'm behind Gabe, I'm coming to practice every day with the mindset that it could be me. So that's how you respond, and that's what our kids are doing.
How do you look at Rylie Mills?
What was that, sir?
Rylie Mills, what have you seen from him?
Oh, man. You guys should see him, man. His body's leaned out. I mean, he may have a six-pack under there. He's just been a hell of a leader. I think one of the things he is becoming comfortable with is that, and he's doing a phenomenal job. He's come back. He and a number of other players, man, have transformed their bodies to play at the highest level. And so I'm very pleased with his progress, and he's working his tail off like he always has, so it's been good.
How do you kind of balance developing the younger players and kind of maintaining the veteran players as well, and the performance of both?
Yeah, so like I mentioned earlier, I think you have to put people in roles. Like if you're a young player, I'm going to put you out there with the older guys to see how you respond. And then you also encourage the older players to become coaches. I think when you take ownership on a younger player, I think there's a certain engagement that helps you stay close to the game and not feel like you're going stale. I think that's the key, and the circle of life, so to speak. And that's what we focus on. So.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Thanks.
See you.
How's everybody doing?
Good.
Good.
Jordan, I know you went down to Florida to train in May. I guess what did you kind of get out of that, and what did you want to achieve by going down there?
Well, I just wanted to keep it rolling, so I went down there. It was really hot. I feel like I just wanted to keep it rolling. So when I came back, I was able to just work hard and just keep building on top of that.
And then we heard that you were a little banged up at times last year. I guess, are you healthy now? And I guess, how does that help your game?
Yeah, I feel good. I feel 100% healthy, and I'm ready for the season.
Being that you came back for another year, I guess why was it important for you to come back and sort of, to carve out this role and have a chance to make an impact here in the end?
I feel like I got a lot to prove. I got a lot of things I got to work on, and I'm just excited for the season.
What have you seen out of some of the younger guys like Bryce and Logan who are young and obviously have some of the traits to be successful at this level?
I feel like Bryce and Logan, they do a good job at studying the plays. I feel like they're far ahead for their age. And honestly, they've been balling out at practice, so I'm excited to see them keep going.
Jordan, with your leadership and your experience, what do you bring to the defensive line group?
I feel like I try to get everybody going. I try to tell everyone to be physical. You know, like if you don't know what you're doing, I just tell them just to go hard, because when you go hard and you mess up, at least you went hard on the play.
Is that coming easy for you to communicate like that? You seem kind of a quiet guy, a quiet killer, but are you coming out and becoming more of a leader?
I feel like I've been doing a better job just talking more and getting the young guys going for sure.
Let's do one more if we got one more.
Coach Golden's moved you around quite a bit on third down in different spots. I guess how does that benefit your game?
I feel like when you move different spots, you kind of get more experience in each position. And I feel like, it just makes your game of football, you learn more, and it helps you when you're playing.
Joe, we saw Tosh working at left tackle today. I guess was that an easier transition to have a veteran guy move over in place of Charles?
Oh, I mean, that's an absolute luxury. Like, we got a lot of trust in Tosh, and dude battles his tail off. We left the field last year with him on it and doing a great job at Oregon State, and it's been great competition. So, yeah, him stepping in, we got a lot of confidence in Tosh.
And then when it comes to freshmen like Anthony and Styles, I guess, what do you want to see from them to try and make sure that the depth is sound right there too?
Yeah, I think each guy's got his own case, right? Like Anthony was healthy in the spring, so he was able to complete the whole spring, and honestly has come in with just an approach and an understanding that you may not have expected. Like, he really does understand the game to a high level, has competed at a high level, and his numbers from the weight room, field, athleticism are like among the top of the group. So he'll have a chance to push up in there and help us in our depth.
Joe, when you go through adversity and an injury like you did, how do you react and how do you coach the student athlete to deal with sudden change?
Yeah, I think the first thing is you got to see it for what it is. Like, you'll go through the surgery that he'll have this week, and we'll find out really exactly the totality of it, like what it's going to be and what's the recovery, and then you do the same thing you did. You have to focus your mind at the day at hand, and you still got to win the day at hand. There's plenty of stuff that you can improve on. There's plenty of stuff that you can help yourself with at every moment. So the idea is you don't take a second off. Am I disappointed? Is Charles disappointed? O-line wise? Yeah, of course we are, man. We love Charles. We hate to see him miss 1 minute, let alone the possibility of missing a season. But we believe in him, that he'll be back and stronger for this journey. And we also believe in the guys in that room, that this journey, this hurdle that we have to take is going to make us stronger as a group. So we'll find the answers.
You've seen the development of Ashton at center, but how has he really prepared himself mentally for coming into this season?
Yeah, I think Ashton Craig had a great journey last year. There were some times, even in fall camp, where we were banged up, and he had to take that role as the starting center, and then had some success, had some things that weren't as good. And I think it's kind of my talk to the guys after practice today. It's finding consistency, right? Like, as an O-lineman, like, you take incredible pride in being consistent play after play. Like, Joe Alt had great plays. Blake Fisher had great plays, but the things that made them special was consistency. They got their job done. As Coach Freeman would say, they won the interval play to play to play. And I think that's it. I think that's the goal of the group as a whole. So, yeah, but I've really loved his approach. I've loved how he's come into this, kind of turned himself, even though he's a third-year player, acts like a veteran player.
Is it practical to take a look at a guy like Billy Schrauth at one of the tackle spots just to see what you have there?
Yeah, I think everybody's skill set is what it is. I don't know that you just start moving people all over the place. It's a benefit. I just think you kind of just keep bringing them along. I've done that before. I absolutely have. I think the journey will still be to get the best 5 guys on the football field, and we will do that without putting anybody in a position where they wouldn't help us to be the best we could be.
Let's do one more.
You already mentioned it, but obviously with the big loss, what's been your message to the offensive line as you guys kind of continue?
They're kind of, it's always a talking conversation. Like, those guys are locked in. Like, they know their level of understanding and belief, and the next guy in, the 5 is 1 mentality, like, it's there. So you didn't really have to say much. I mean, as soon as someone's not there, boom, next guy's in. The expectation's the same. The understanding's the same. Freaking Charles went and he's coaching his butt off out there today. He's talking to every guy. He's taking them through everything, especially in the young group. They're a brotherhood, you know, and you know, when a brother's down, someone steps up and steps into that role and handles it, and you're excited that they get the opportunity, you know. But we'll find out, like we said, the rest with Charles. But we're still hope for the best as he comes out of this. But we'll maximize the opportunities, and he'll be better for the journey.
Rylie, what's the ceiling for this defensive line group, just given the experience coming back?
Yeah, I mean, we got guys coming back at, you know, a high level. Like, we got Howard, RJ, JB, and, you know, myself as kind of the older guys. But, you know, I think what's really exciting is that it's not just us. You know, you got Diamond Heinisch. You know the Heinishes. You know you're getting, like, you got a good player right there. Jason Anya, Josh Burnham, Junior Tuilalanka. I mean, I just think it's great that we got so much depth. You know, and I think that's something that, you know, last year, you know, we didn't get to see as much. But now as we get into it, it's, you know, is our ceiling high? Yes. But is the guy behind us ceiling high? Hell yeah.
You've seen several interior players come through here, whereas Ashton and Billy kind of taking a step forward.
Yeah, I think they've both done a really good commitment, especially with Coach Landau this offseason. Was, you know, they need to get bigger, they need to get sturdier, and, you know, I didn't get too many opportunities in the spring to go against them, but I think in this fall camp, you know, it's been great to battle against them. I think one thing they do a good job of is that, you know, they're always together. I said earlier, but, like, they move in herds. Like, if you're walking to get lunch, like, they're probably together eating off the same plate. So, you know, I think it's just they have great communication and great chemistry. So, you know, we're going against them, it makes us better and, you know, makes them better to go against each other.
Talk a little bit about, go ahead.
What's the communication been like with the linebackers, just having a new voice now that JD's gone?
Yeah, I mean, Jack is, I mean, I think he's like 25 years old, 24, so it's been great having his experience. And, you know, he's just a great leader, you know, when it comes to it. Like, he's been here, I think he's like the second or third oldest, like, tenured person in the Goog, so he knows the ins and outs of the program. He knows how things go, so it's just great to have him back there, being able to set things up, and we can trust what he's doing. And, you know, he's really done a great job bringing, because it's a young room with the linebackers, and, you know, he's really brought them along and kind of helped them. So it's great to see everybody in that room, you know, improve and get better. And especially just as a whole unit, I think we're flying at, you know, such a high level. It's just great to see every day.
Can you talk a little bit about your transformation, your weight loss, but yet you're not losing anything in terms of, like, your bench and your squats?
Yeah. I mean, when I came back, the biggest thing I told Coach Freeman and Coach Walsh and Coach Gold was, look, I don't want to come back and be the same player I was last year. And I knew I had things I wanted to work on, regardless if I left or if I stayed. So, you know, it's just a really big appreciation to Coach Landau. You know, the biggest thing that we worked on was how do I get, you know, my weight down, because last year I was about 305, 310, but now I'm, you know, 293, 294. But how do I keep that same strength and really improve my mobility? So that's been, you know, I come in probably every day, you know, for about an hour and a half and do mobility with him. You know, in the weight room, he's always adjusting things for me to get better on my, you know, mobility in that aspect. And, you know, but he's also someone who, he's like, look, I want you to get faster, I want you to get stronger. So just to have someone that's on the same page has been great. And, you know, he's been around some of the best there's been. So I've just been super grateful to have someone like that in my corner.
One more. Rylie, you mentioned the deep defensive line. What do these guys need from you this season?
Yeah, you know, I think my role is just kind of giving the advice that, you know, I got from the older guys when I was younger. You know, I look at guys like Kurt Heinisch, you know, Myron, Jason, Justin, the twins, you know, those are guys that really showed me the ropes, and they're people that, I, you know, even to this day I look up to, and I try to model myself after them. So if I can just do my job and my part of passing that along and making sure that, you know, they're following the standard that, you know, I saw when I came in, you know, that's how I know I'll do my job.
Rocco, what's been your mindset entering this camp?
Yeah, I mean, going into spring, you know, still a little banged up. It was just getting healthy and getting as strong as possible. But now, you know, putting it all together, going into fall camp, and, you know, really just trying to execute and, you know, bring the other guys with me.
And then you mentioned the injuries that you came back from. I guess, how are you a different and better player this fall, even with the injuries?
Yeah, I mean, I'm healthy now, 100%. It was gritty last year going through that stuff. Shoulder injury for most part the whole season. And then coming back from the knee, it was a big journey. You know, it was a humbling experience though, but, you know, now it's, you know, putting the pieces together and really building the best offensive line.
Rocco, you've had quite the journey. What is your personal goal in camp this fall and then for the season?
Yeah, I mean, my personal goal is, you know, to find the best 5 guys, get ready for Texas A&M, and really, you know, put those pieces together, win football games here. And that's the biggest thing, and, raising the bar and executing at a high level.
And then looking at your game, where have you improved the most, in what area?
Yeah, Coach Lando, this offseason, he's really changed the whole mindset of how an offensive lineman should be, slimming down, being explosive, that quick twitch fibers. It's a big game changer with Coach Lando.
I guess, just to like the team leaders kind of step up in this transition with losing, obviously, Jagasol. What have you seen within the offensive line?
Yeah, especially when I went down, we had the next guy in mentality with Billy Schrauth. That's our mindset. It's unfortunate. You hate to see, a teammate go down, and especially another offensive lineman. But it's the next guy in mentality, and there's a bar that's set, and you have to execute at the highest level. It doesn't matter if you're a freshman or a senior.
Howard, how do you kind of block out the preseason accolades and all that stuff and just kind of focus on ball?
You just kind of do. My mindset, unfortunately, not in a mean way, it's all great and awesome and stuff. Like, all these accolades mean really nothing because we're still a month and a half away, 3 weeks, away from the season. And, if I go out and don't do anything, which I won't, but still, don't really mean anything. So, not a mean way, but yeah.
What have you seen from Cole as he kind of transitions down a level and inside?
Cole?
Yeah.
Cole's learning a lot of stuff. We're asking him to do a lot. He's learned like 3 positions or 4 at this point. But he's a freshman. He's really taking it on the chin. He's getting with guys to figure out what's going on. He's getting better every day, so we see that, and we're all really proud of him. We're excited to see where he goes.
So going through the accolades, Riley's getting a lot of that too. Is it easier to kind of go through that process and focus on when you have him alongside you?
Riley?
Yeah.
It's great. Obviously having somebody of his caliber, and then we also have RJ. We also have JB. Like, we have a stack. We have a lot of people on the D line that are going to do a lot for us this year, and I'm really excited, and I think everybody's excited to see what's going to happen. So.
What have you seen too out of Bryce and Logan, being that they have obviously the physical traits to be successful, but obviously still very young?
Jealous, obviously. I wish I was also 6'5" and can run like 30 miles per hour with like 2 feet. But I'm very excited to see where they go. Like Bryce, for example, reminds me a lot of Foskey. And like I'm really excited for them. I really am. So I'm excited to see what happens.
Howard, talk about Al Washington and what he's doing this year. Maybe different from the past year, but how has he evolved as a coach, and what is he bringing to it?
I think really for coaches, it's just consistency. He really hasn't changed up what he's doing, but that's kind of the charm of it. Like every year we just get better with the same stuff. You don't have to be fantastic with all these crazy movements and all these crazy things that a lot of coaches do. It's if you just do the 3 or 4 basic things right, near perfectly, like nobody can beat you.
And as far as the room, what do you bring to the room?
I attempt to bring leadership. Obviously, as many people know, I'm not like a big rah-rah guy. I help out guys out that need it, younger guys that want to watch film, that need extra help, that want pass rushing advice or just regular advice. I'm there for them, and I try to help out in any way I can.
Pat, what are some of the challenges of kind of breaking in a new left tackle, even if it's like communication or stuff like that?
Yeah, obviously there are some challenges that come with that, but also at the same time, Tosh Baker has played a lot of football, and we've played a lot of football together. And I know he's a great football player, a damn good football player. So there's obviously the ebbs and flows of different types of communication, whether it be sayings, words, phrases, stuff like that. But I'm not worried. It's a next man up mentality, and that's how it's always been here. And I know Tosh has the same idea of what we're trying to do and how we're trying to succeed.
And then you started 13 games last year. How different was the offseason for you, just knowing what you're going to expect week in and week out?
Yeah, I think the season gave me a perspective on what I needed to get better at, and that was getting stronger in the weight room. And I truly believe I had the best offseason in my life, and I'm in the best shape of my life. So that's something I really prioritized this season, was just strength training. Me and Coach Rudolph both agreed that was the one thing for me, is I had to get stronger, and I believe I did that. So, and it's showing up on the field, so I'm happy to see those results, and I just got to keep pushing.
Just kind of bounce off that one, but you bring back all of these, a lot of experience from last year. And just looking back, a lot of the challenges, how did you kind of like persevere through last year, kind of hoping to build on now going into a new season?
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, it was my first time playing, and I never got really experience before that. So just knowing how my body's going to feel now, I had the advice of like Joe, Blake, and Zeke last year, them showing me the ropes kind of and telling me like this is normal. But now I know like how to treat my body better. I know how I'm going to feel. I know I got to take steps ahead to make sure I don't feel as bad during the season. It's a long season. It's a grueling season, but it's the best, and it's football. So,
Pat, with the season right around the corner, does this team have an identity, or are you getting closer to establishing an identity?
I think throughout this camp, we're establishing that identity. We're going to be an explosive offense, and then we're going to run the ball, and we're going to run the ball really well, and then we're going to take shots, and we're going to throw the ball, and we're going to score a lot of points. We're going to be very explosive, and then we're going to line up and run the ball.
Ashton, how did Coach Landau's offseason program kind of help you?
Yeah. First off, Lando's awesome. I mean, he helped me first when I got here. I mean, we sat down, talked, and just kind of sat down. What do I need to do to get better? Sat down. I mean, I'm on the gain train, so I tried to put on a little bit more. Nothing crazy. I was around 300 last year. Now I'm like around 310. So just trying to put on a little bit more mass to help me get stronger in those areas, and then just mobility. I really think Lando's really big on the mobility part, and I think that's going to help me be able to play better and be able to get in positions that are going to help me succeed. So.
And then how valuable were those games that you got starting next to Billington last year?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like last year, those last 3 or 4 games were huge. Just to be able to come in and just like be able to calm my nerves down and just settle in there and just be able to play ball. I think it's huge just going into the season, building confidence, and then just being ready to go against Texas A&M week 1.
Ashton, you continue that Hoosier legacy on the offensive line, but what is it about Indiana and that Hoosier work ethic that you've taken and been successful here with?
I mean, yeah, just coming from a small town in Indiana, Lawrenceburg, I mean, you don't really have a lot coming from there. But yeah, just being able to just put your head down and then get to work is just a huge thing that I feel like if anybody that wants to be successful, like you have to do that, especially being from Indiana. I mean, not a lot of guys coming out of Lawrenceburg coming to Indy and things like that. So, yeah, just being able to be consistent in those areas.
How are you making the guys to your left and right better?
Oh, yeah, just being able to be accountable and just being consistent for them. I mean, just being every play, every down, just being able to be that guy that they can trust on the field and off the field.
And how does Notre Dame football as a whole kind of just developed you as an athlete and also as a person?
I mean, yeah, coming in, obviously as a freshman, like Notre Dame's kind of scary to a freshman, but just being able to like sit down and then just like reflect on like this university and how special it is, it really can be, and how it can set you up for the future. I mean, just like it's developing me as a man and on and off the field, just being able to push me to those points and gain that edge for sure.
Ashton, does anything change with Rylie's ability to scramble? Like, do you have to be conscious of where he's at compared to a guy like Sam where he's hanging out in the pocket?
Not really. I mean, obviously, like, we're going to do our job and be confident in what we're going to do up front. But, like, obviously it's going to be nice for, like, if Rylie can get out and run. I mean, he's a super athlete, and it's going to be cool to see what he has in store for this year. But, yeah, we're going to do our job and do our thing every time, every play, in and out. So, yeah.
Billy, what were some of the points of emphasis Coach Rudolph had for you this offseason?
Keep getting stronger. I think that's a message he's been pushing a lot in our room, and I think that's important. As long as this game stays the same, strength is going to be the name of the game.
And then what does Emil do well that folks like us might not know?
Yeah, Emil does a really good job of getting his hands on people. He's got heavy hands. I tell him all the time, get those on him. Like, that does a lot of stuff, and he plays with a lot of length too. I think that's another thing that he does really well.
Billy, it's a long season. What have you learned about keeping healthy and having that energy toward the end of the season?
Yeah, every day you got to work on it. It's just like anything. And once you think you got it, you don't. You got to keep working at it. So I think getting in the training room, getting in the tubs, getting with the training staff, stretching out, all the little stuff. It's really important.
Bill, given the circumstances, is right tackle a spot that you could play if things happen to trend that way?
Yeah, wherever coach needs me, I'll be at. Wherever our team needs me, I'll be at. So that's what's important to me.